Hey, boys and girls. Today we're going to read another article from our Time for Kids Wild Crossings. Today we're going to look on page 7 at our article entitled 8 Questions. We're going to read it on the screen today, but I did want to show you the author we're talking about today. He wrote this book, Ghost, which some of you have seen probably in the Scholastic Book Fair or around. So if after reading about the author today you're interested, then this is one of the books he's written. He's written a lot of books, but this is one of the ones I thought you might be more familiar with. So here we go. Make sure you're following along on the screen as I read, and we kind of have a little bit of a discussion here about this author, and then we will have some follow-up questions for you to do on your own. This author, Jason Reynolds, was recently named National Ambassador for Young People's Literature by the Library of Congress. He spoke with TFK Kid reporter Jack Doan. Number 1, what's your goal as National Ambassador? Now here I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what a National Ambassador actually does, so maybe this is going to answer this question for me. Let's find out. My goal is to visit small towns and encourage young people to share their stories. We usually think stories are just in books, but our lives are books in themselves. We might believe our stories aren't valuable, but they are. Imagine if everybody's story could be made valuable. What connection are you making with that statement Jason Reynolds just said? Are you thinking about a story that you're writing right now about yourself? Maybe about your narrative writing? That narrative writing that you're writing is part of your story. If you think about your life as a book and you have all these different little stories and chapters built into it, right? And so you're telling about one of those little stories within your book of your life. Number 2, you visit schools often. Why is that important to you? When I was a kid, there was no such thing as an author visit. I never knew that I could grow up to be an author. My job now is to show kids is to show up so kids can see that a person who wrote all these books is a regular person with fears, desires, and joys, just like them, right? So he's, in addition to his job being an author, he considers it his job now to show up for kids, to show them that a regular person can be an author, just like any of you can be authors. And if you're a famous author one day, then you got to come back and visit my 4th grade classroom and come to room 35 and tell the kids all about being an amazing author. Promise? Promise me? Say, I promise, Mrs. Gilliard. Awesome. All right, you're all coming back. Number 3, what's it like to write a novel, right? We've all written stories by now. You've done lots of journal responses, but none of us have written a full novel yet. Let's see what he says. The truth is, it's difficult. You can't really master it. You just do the best you can and make it as clear as possible. You try to make something beautiful with the words you know. Number 4, you write especially for young people. Why? Who else is there to write for? Young minds are wide open. I want to write about how interesting and resilient young people are. I see this as my opportunity to help you become who you are trying to be. All right, so it's like, it says, I want to write about how interesting and resilient young people are. And it says resilient means able to become strong, healthy, or successful again after something bad happens. And we've talked a lot about resiliency with our social emotional learning, right? So he says, I want to write about how interesting and resilient young people are, how they overcome some obstacle in their life, right? Number 5, so fiction can be very powerful for young people. Fiction takes you into lives of others. You see what other people are going through, if they're suffering or being treated unfairly, and you learn to care about them. That's an amazing thing. Fiction teaches better than anything. I wonder what you think. Does fiction teach that better than anything? Does fiction take you into another person's life and suffering or their unfairness and help you learn about how to treat and take care of them? Food for thought. Number 6, the boys in your novels often show their emotions. Why is that? I grew up in a neighborhood where you had to be tough. You couldn't seem scared or sensitive. But boys can be all of these things because they're human. I want to show boys that it's okay to have a range of emotions. You don't have to just be a tough guy. Number 7, why is diversity important in books? America is a diverse country. It's got people from all over the world believing all kinds of things, living all kinds of lives. That's the beauty of our country. Why not have this beauty shown in our literature? Number 8, you publish books frequently. How do you do it? I work 6 or 7 hours a day. My mom worked for 50 years and never got an opportunity like this, so I never take it for granted. What does that mean when he says he never takes it for granted? He never takes this opportunity for granted. What does that mean? I want you to think on that for a little bit. All right, and then it says Jason, prized author Reynolds wears his medal from January 2020 at the Library of Congress ceremony. Boys and girls, don't forget to go to the follow-up activity for this in your next link, and have a great day.